What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another review video. Big shout out goes out to OOTD for reaching out to me and asking me to review one of their electric scooters. This is the T10 model, and as they say over at OOTD, it's your ride, your world, your ride, no limits. In this review, I'm going to go over everything there's to know about this electric scooter. I'm going to talk about the specs. I'll do a speed test, a brake test. I'm going to ride around and talk about the riding experience, and I'm going to take it on a little mini off-road trail that I have over here just to test its off-road capabilities. There will be chapters down below, so feel free to skip around to whatever part is of interest to you. But first, let's get started with the specs. So what we got here is the OOTD T10 electric scooter. It features a 500 watt, 900 watt peak hub motor in the rear, coupled with a 48 volts, 13.5 amp hour battery. OOTD claims that this should give you a range of up to 28 miles, depending on riding mode and riding conditions, of course. We have 11-inch by 3.5-inch tubeless tires, coupled with mechanical brakes front and rear with 140mm rotors. This scooter also has a front arm shock absorber, as well as a rear monoshock for a smooth, comfortable ride. The stem of the scooter can fold for easy transportation and storage. We also have a rubberized deck, which is really grippy, as well as a very large footrest. In the front of the scooter, we have a dual LED headlight that is fairly bright, as well as a secondary color option, which can be turned on manually. That is very nice. And in the rear, we have a tail light, an active brake light, as well as turn signals. That is very good to have. The total weight of this scooter is 65 pounds with the max load capacity of 265 pounds. And up on the handlebars, we have our front brake, our thumb throttle and ignition. In the center, we have a huge color display. And on the left side, we have our rear brake, our headlight controls, turn signal switch, mode selector switch, and a bell. And that is pretty much it for the specs. Now, as far as the price, this current model goes for $539, which is already insane, but I will have a discount code where you can get $50 off. That'll be in the description along with a link if you're interested in the scooter. Now, when I first saw the price, I was like, there is no way you get all of this scooter for that price point. That is absolutely wild, and it almost sounds way too good to be true, but this is exactly what we're going to find out today. Now, before I do the speed test, just a few things that stand out to me right off the bat is, first of all, the looks of this thing. It looks very, very nice and rugged, and to me, it looks like a $1,000 scooter, so that is already nice. The second thing is this screen right here. This display is absolutely massive, one of the biggest I've ever seen. And just for a size comparison, this is an iPhone 15 Pro Max, and it's as tall as the iPhone, but it's actually wider by about an inch or so. So just to give you a size comparison of how big the screen is, very, very nice. Another thing I personally like is those front headlights, and I love the way that you can switch between the regular white light and yellow light, very nice. And the last thing is this footrest area, which is really, really nice and wide, almost the size of my hand. Very, very nice. All right, I think I've said enough. Let's jump into our speed test. Alright, now before I do the speed test, there are two things that I want to show you. One is the starting procedure, which is really simple. We just have an ignition key, flick it on, and the scooter will turn on. The second thing, though, is this scooter comes speed locked out of the box at 15 miles an hour. We have to unlock it. So I'll turn the scooter off and I'll show you how to do that. Also, pretty simple. What you'll do is with the scooter off, we're going to hold that brake handle and then turn it on, and within 5 seconds we have to press the throttle 3 times. So got my brake on, turn it on, 1, 2, 3, and you'll see the 1, 2, and 3 modes flicker, and that's it. Now we can let go of the brake and the scooter is unlocked. The last thing is this scooter does have 3 riding modes, and you change between them by hitting the switch over here, which has 1, 2, and 3 on it. And for this test, I'm going to be testing mode 3. Alright, so I got my phone's GPS app open and the speed reset, and let's see how fast we can get this thing to go. Okay, so initial takeoff is fairly chill. It's not gonna yank you back. It's a 0 start, which means you don't have to give it a kick to start going. It'll just start going by itself. Display is showing 26. Now, this scooter is supposed to hit 31 miles an hour when it's unlocked, but I don't really see it hitting that. I'm gonna give my GPS enough time to catch up over here. It shows 30, and I will brake. It seemed like I was kind of gaining more speed towards the end of this road. Hopefully my GPS had enough time to catch up, but let's stop and see what kind of speed we got. So my phone's GPS is showing 27.6 miles an hour. The scooter did show 30. It felt like it was gaining more speed, so I'll give the scooter the benefit of the doubt. And let's just say it would have gained maybe another mile per hour or something like that, but still not the exact 31 miles per hour that's advertised. All right, a little quick mid-video update. As I was leaving, I had to give the speed test one more chance because I knew it had more in it, and I was able to get 30 miles an hour on this thing. So not exactly the advertised 31 miles an hour, but way better than the original speed test. Just wanted to include that so you guys can see. All right, back to the video. And that was our speed test. Now let's do our brake test. And a couple of things before I do it is these are mechanical brakes. They can be adjusted to give them more bite or less bite depending on how you want the brakes to feel. And the second thing is they're brand new, so they'll only get better with time. But with that being said, I'm gonna make my way up to about 20 miles an hour over here. That should be enough. And there's a bush coming up to the right. I'm gonna brake in 3, 2, go. All right. Okay, so from that little bush right there to where we are, we're looking at an estimated maybe 16, 17 feet, something like that. So we're looking at an estimated stopping distance of about 17 feet from about 20 miles an hour. And that was our brake test. Now let's talk about the scooter itself and the riding experience. So far it's a very pleasant riding experience. The scooter sits a bit higher, so you kind of feel on top of everything, which is a very nice feeling. The tires are very nice on this thing, and you can carve easily. Cool thing about them is they're kind of like hybrid tires, so they're good for road and off-road, which we're gonna be testing shortly. So that is really nice. Let's see our turning radius over here. Should be pretty decent. I mean, it is a scooter. Yeah, not bad at all. As far as the standing position and the handlebar height, I am 5'8", and this is like very nice and natural for me. Really good standing position and handlebar position. As far as the deck itself, I'll show you that. It's pretty grippy. It's like rubberized material that's very grippy. My shoe is a size 10, but this shoe is rather large, and I have plenty of room, and I'm loving this footrest area in the back. Very nice. Very stable as well at high speeds or its top speed, and feels really, really nice. As far as the suspension, it is medium stiffness, but it feels really nice on this road. I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. So check it out. This is what the suspension looks like. Very decent. Very, very decent for the price of this scooter. I'm highly impressed. Now keep in mind, I'm being very extreme right now, bouncing on the scooter and jumping on it, and the suspension is really nice. You're never going to be jumping on the scooter like that. So far, I'm really impressed with the suspension. That is really nice. At this point though, let's go ahead and try our off-road test and see what this thing is capable of. Now, one thing that I do want to note is this trail never comes across on the GoPro, but it is very bumpy. You may hear my helmet bouncing all over the place. It is very bumpy, ups and downs, and I just want to see how the suspension handles the situation. So far, pretty well. The suspension is nice, the tires are very nice, and we got a little hill climb over here. Do we have enough power and momentum? Yeah, enough power to do it. Very bouncy though. If the suspension was a bit softer on the scooter, it would be so much nicer. I mean, it's way better than not having anything, but This is probably the most extreme type of terrain, off-road terrain, I would take the scooter on. Okay, seemed like it passed this section. It was a very bouncy ride, I have to mention that, but at this point I kind of want to stop. I always do this after the off-road section, off-road test. I like to stop and test some of the components, make sure everything is still in order, especially this folding mechanism. Seems pretty nice, pretty solid. Fender's good, tires are good. Yeah, very, very solid. The only thing I will say is this latch right here, which is used when you fold the scooter down to latch onto the footrest. It's very loose. Now when I put it together, I try to make it as tight as possible, but it wouldn't go any further. It's very loose, so when you're riding, you're hearing this like metallic tinging sound that happens. You might be able to put some tape on it or something to eliminate that, but I had to mention that. Alright, now what do I think about the OOTD T10 electric scooter? Let's do things I like, things I don't like, and is this thing good value for money or not? Let's start with things I like. I really like the overall design of this thing. Like I said in the intro, looks like $1,000 scooter, so that is very nice. I like the ignition key, which is a really nice safety feature. If you're using this to commute or maybe go to the store real quick, you can turn it off, take the key with you. No one can turn it on without the key. That is very nice to have. I'm loving that screen. Huge display, very easy to read. I also really like the lighting package that this scooter has. The lights in the front switching between the colors, that is very nice. I've never seen that before. And the rear active brake light and turn signals, that is very nice to have, especially if you're commuting with this thing. I also like the suspension. It's not the best suspension in the world, but it was pretty decent, and it's gonna work perfectly if you're using this on the road. As far as off-roading, what I just went through, that'll probably be the most extreme type of trail I would ever take the scooter on. Now let's do things I don't like, and I always try to find something, just so I'm honest with you guys. The first thing was that little latch thing that I mentioned. I wish it was a bit tighter. The second thing is, it's not really a thing that I don't like, it's more of I wish it had, and I'm talking about the brakes. Now, they perform decently, and they will only get better with time as they break in or bed themselves in, but I wish it had hydraulic brakes. I think that at this point, all of these things should have hydraulic brakes, and if it did, it would have been really, really nice. Another thing that I don't fully like is the size of the battery. 48 volts, 13.5 amp hour. That is okay for medium-sized commuting, but I wish it had a larger battery. But at the same time, for the price of this thing, you can't really complain, so I kind of understand that. Now, with all that stuff being said, is this thing good value for money or not? We're talking $539, but I will have a $50 coupon code that will be in the description down below. So you're looking at less than $500 for everything that you're getting here. That is an insane value for money. Now, even without my discount code, that is a very decent value for money. If you add my discount code on top of that, that is an insane value for money. What do you think about this thing? Leave it in the comment section. This has been the OOTD T10 electric scooter review. I appreciate you guys watching as always, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.